Why do we lose our minds over slow service at the coffee shop but ignore our dying dreams?
She threw the food and coffee at the guy who was sitting near the counter.
I purchased a cup of coffee today, and all I expect your employee to do is say thank you.
Ever notice how people will scream at a slow barista, lose their minds over a delayed train, and let spilled coffee ruin their entire day? But those same people will stay in relationships that drain them, let their dreams collect dust, and watch years slip by without pursuing what matters most. Why do we do that? We treat tiny inconveniences like world-ending emergencies, but when it comes to the stuff that actually shapes our lives, our relationships, our health, our dreams, our purpose, we waste years on autopilot. No urgency, no focus, all while our most important aspirations fade away. Today, you'll discover the exact psychological traps that create this backwards response, and more importantly, how to escape them. The psychology behind big and small problems. 1. Negativity bias. Why bad coffee hijacks our brains. Our brain is wired to focus on problems way more than good things. Makes sense for survival, right? But here's the issue. Our ancient alarm system treats a delayed coffee like a genuine emergency. So when coffee takes 5 minutes instead of 2, the same stress response that once saved us from predators now unnecessarily gets fired up over a stupid cup of coffee. Meanwhile, someone could be drifting apart from their partner for months, avoiding exercise for years, or letting their creative dreams slowly die. And their brain just ignores it, because it's not immediate, it's not urgent, so it doesn't register as a problem. 2. Affect heuristic. When feelings become facts. How we feel about something determines how important we think it is. Spilled coffee creates immediate annoyance, so the brain decides it must be important. But that job slowly draining our soul? That novel that you've been thinking about writing for 3 years? That fitness goal that gets pushed to next Monday? We've gotten used to that dull ache of unfulfillment. It's become background noise. So the brain thinks it's not worth addressing. 3. Status quo bias. The comfort of misery. The human brain prefers things to stay exactly the same, even when they're terrible, because change is scary and uncertain, while misery is familiar. So people will complain about their boss for the 500th time instead of updating their resume, dream about starting that business instead of taking immediate action, make extensive plans about buying gym clothes instead of putting on whatever sneakers you have and going for a walk. The brain whispers, "This is just how things are," and we believe it. 4. Hyperbolic discounting, trading the future for comfort. We tend to massively overvalue immediate rewards and problems, and undervalue future ones. Staying in bed feels better than going to the gym. Watching Netflix feels better than working on that book. Avoiding difficult conversations feels better than building deeper connections. So we choose today's comfort over tomorrow's fulfillment every single day. Until years have passed and we're still exactly where we started, in relationships that feel hollow, bodies that feel weak, dead-end jobs that are crushing our spirits. 5. Normalcy bias. When disasters become normal, it is the brain's way of pretending everything is fine when it's actually falling apart. When someone's been unhappy at work for so long that unhappiness just feels normal. When someone's been out of shape for so long that being unhealthy feels normal. That is similar to 6. The boiling frog syndrome. The water gets hotter so gradually that we don't notice we're being cooked alive. Our lives are literally slipping away, but because it happens slowly, our brains treat it like background noise. 7. Learned helplessness. When we stop trying. After enough failed attempts or just enough time thinking about how hard change would be, learned helplessness kicks in. We convince ourselves that big problems are just beyond our control. Can't change careers at this age. Too old to get in shape now. I'm not creative enough to write that book. These aren't facts. They're stories we tell ourselves to avoid the discomfort of trying. 8. Illusion of control. Fighting battles we can't win. People focus on the coffee because of the illusion of control. They can complain, demand a new cup, write a bad review. It feels like taking action, but changing an entire career, Starting that passion project, actually showing up to the gym, that feels overwhelming and uncertain. So instead of tackling the things that would actually transform their lives, energy gets wasted on stuff that literally doesn't matter. 9. False equivalence. Treating ants like elephants. Treating a 5-minute delay the same as a 5-year pattern of neglect. Both get the same emotional weight, the same urgency, the same amount of mental energy, but they're not the same. One is a minor inconvenience that'll be forgotten by tomorrow. The other is the slow erosion of everything that makes life meaningful. 10. Appeal to emotion, drama over action. Our brains get us so worked up about the small stuff that it feels like being productive. We're having big feelings, we're taking action, we're complaining about slow Wi-Fi while our relationships grow cold and our dreams gather dust. 11. Parkinsons Law of triviality, bike shedding. They'll spend hours debating the color of a bike shed while ignoring the nuclear reactor next door. Why? Because the bike shed is easy to understand and have opinions about. Relationship work is complex, fitness is uncomfortable, and dreams are scary, while complaining is simple and safe. 12. Opportunity cost, the real price we're paying. Every minute spent stressed about traffic is a minute not spent connecting with loved ones. Every ounce of energy wasted on a slow internet connection is energy not invested in personal growth. That's opportunity cost, and we're bleeding it everywhere. We all have limited mental and emotional energy each day. When it gets spent on stuff that doesn't matter, there's nothing left for the stuff that does. Building relationships, pursuing passions, taking care of our health, growing as people. 13. Hanlon's razor. Sometimes we overreact not out of malice or stupidity, but just because our attention and priorities are easily hijacked by the urgent, not the important. The big picture. Look, big things are terrifying. Relationships require vulnerability. Dreams require risk. Health requires discipline. Personal growth requires discomfort. Small problems are safe to be angry about. They don't threaten our worldview or demand that we change. But here's the truth. We're already taking a massive risk. We're risking our one life on the hope that relationships will magically improve, dreams will magically happen, and health will magically return, all without us doing anything about it. The coffee will sometimes be slow, the traffic will usually be bad, but the window for building meaningful relationships, pursuing our dreams, and becoming who we want to be. That's closing every day we choose the illusion of control over actual control. Now here's my challenge to you. This week, every time you catch yourself getting worked up over something trivial, try to give it a name. That's just my negativity bias talking. I'm bike shedding instead of dealing with what really matters. Then redirect that energy toward one important thing that's been neglected. A relationship, a dream, a health goal, personal growth. What's the meaningful thing that's been put off while stressing about the small stuff? A conversation that needs to happen? A creative project that's been waiting? A health habit that keeps getting delayed? Drop it in the comments. Let's break these patterns together. If this opened your eyes to how our own brains have been sabotaging what matters most, please like and subscribe. Your future self will thank you for it. And check out the book Unfunk Your Mind, which has 365 such logical fallacies, cognitive biases, mental models, and critical thinking techniques to create the best you.